The no-nonsense guy has published 2 days ago without nary a mention of his call that how to trade a bear market. But this is about banks too. So if you're following along in the gooberdom of how to get another day job, how to go from your day job routine to a prop house, it's to be on a desk, and hopefully there's a really hot trader sitting next to you that you can think about. Like, she looks pretty good. Hey, what are you doing later? Okay. All right, so we're off to the races. We're waiting for the Dow Jones to open, but I couldn't resist the no-nonsense guy. Banks too.
What they just saw. So I'm going to do my best to clarify everything here. For a lot of my hardcores, it's going to be a really good review, but I feel like there's a definite place for this video right here. Now, before we start, I just want everybody to know, at the end of the day, I am just one guy with one opinion, one theory. I just happen to also have a YouTube channel, so more people get to hear it, and that's really it. It doesn't make it any more or less.
Whoops. Yeah, so that's true. It doesn't make it any more. So everything that we say in here. But this is where I just fall to pieces, is that for all this guy's supposed experience, he hasn't figured out that.
What I always try to do, though, is back up my claims with evidence, with logic, with anything I have, to hopefully project my point and my theory to you the best I can, and then you can just take it from there.
But he can't do that because he's an emotional basket case. He's like a fucking idiot. He's a useful idiot for himself. He's got all this, come here, I'm teach you how to trade. I never see him trade. Never. Why? Because he knows it's work. Dude, it's too much work. It is. It really is. I mean, if you're really going to take advantage of all these nooks and crannies in the supply and demand zones that he claims do not exist in forex, that all markets are different. I don't see a difference. Honestly, if you're going to trade objectively from where we are now into the future, right? You can't build an algorithm on the past, turn it on, and let it take you down the road. This doesn't happen. It can't happen. So the market's a real living thing in forex because so he's saying, well, forex is like, dude, it's like Globex. Remember Globex? It's a fucking 24-hour market, so it's a different thing. Right? Isn't it different? So if you're going to trade, and he doesn't, he trades the daily charts, I just don't know how people do it, honestly. Somebody's got to tell me. Like, the market's open. If he traded once a week, he would make more money. If he traded reversal, so he contradicts himself here. The contradictions is what just blows my mind. What people say, you got to have a level playing field, but then they make it crooked because their emotion is involved in making it feel okay. And the feeling is that the big banks, the argument is that in a $4 trillion, $6 trillion exchange market, in other words, that's how much money is going back and forth. It's not like, so when you see a move in the market, the only thing that matters to you is, are you in that move? If you see a move, were you in that move? Why didn't you get in that trade? This is the oldest issue in the world. Why didn't you take that trade? You got a million excuses. This guy's like the excuse maker. He's a professional excuse maker. I don't know. I just made a fake money in 90 days. I just took an account from $5,000 to 95 grand. Okay, from $5,000 to 95 grand, and you can go ask Samurai Trader. He knows how to do that too. Right? We look at the opportunity. We see it. We pull the trigger. I'm sure ICT's done that to an account, but there's my account. I just did it. So did I have to babysit the trades? Oh yeah, because there was no stops. I'm getting in 21Ks. Boom, 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 boom. And even leveled the thing back out. When we came back to fair value, I just went flat. So I took losses. I don't normally, if there's a stop, I would let the stop get hit. But here I traded it straight out, right to the edge. So I don't know what no nonsense. I'd like to see him demo ball this account. You do this account. Okay, now I'm just barely trading it now with scrubs, but I traded in the market very heavy on reversal windows. And I've marked all those reversal windows out. This is Sam Seidel trading right here. Sam Seidel of Suicide and Tradings. Look at this thing. So 90 grand, thank you very much. That's a grand a day. That's not 16 grand a day, but it's not bad, right? I'm up 50 bucks. I took some heavy trades in here, just heavy, to the max. So I might have outdone the Ryan bot. So the Ryan bot, and some guy was going to publish a bot. Or put a link to your bot or something, and I think this is another big myth, is that somehow there's a secret to trading, and that if I only knew what the big banks were thinking, and if I could only see the guy just about to pull the trigger on that trade, or call George Soros and ask him which country he's going to try to destroy the currency of, I could just make so much money, and I'd have so much money, and then I'd. So I don't know if making money is the answer for if you're that starved for money. Maybe other things that you couldn't even build if you had to, but you couldn't build your lawn. You don't have a replicator. You can't just build a tree overnight. It takes a long time to grow. And I don't really know what I guess people are looking for the safety of the belongingness, right? So the people want to, oh, yeah, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, that's kind of, oh yeah, are we gonna talk? And so I went to one of these meetings once, political meetings in town. And turns out the guy's a fucking tard here sitting next to me. And he's running the show. I'm like, dude, you buying rounds of drinks for people isn't fucking impressing me. You're an idiot. Okay, so I mean, if you could buy rounds of drinks for people, doesn't mean that you have any knowledge. And so if you can do, so the, your lifestyle is what would matter, because yeah, Suli and I can flip accounts, right? And I can do that, and I can take an account, flip it, but I would just retire the account. It's so much work to do that trade. And the trades that I so I had other accounts that I took up to $100,000. Now those accounts I destroyed because of one thing. I did not take profits. I never trailed my stops. But dude, I swung trade the shit out of it. These markets are designed to be swung traded. They are support and resistance markets. It's not what you think. It's not just trend trading. We don't trade reversals here now. Sit down, shut up. So we're all trading based on where our mindset thinks about what is an opportunity, and is this going to be something I can keep replicating that same trade? Can I see these opportunities at 6 o'clock in the morning, right around when the next session starts? So there's 5 p.m., then there's 5 a.m. So if you looked at the market with a 12-hour chart, it's up 12 hours, it's down 12 hours. If all you did was sell if it was up and buy if it was down, this is buy low, sell high theory, which no nonsense is saying that doesn't work. But that's all that could work, because how can you make 90 grand? How can you make $1,000 average a day? Just stop trading. Took 5 grand to that, just retire the account, just live off of it. or just trade it very lightly. So I could trade it now as if, yeah, now I could risk 2% of the account. Right now but I would risk 0.000000001% of the account, wouldn't you? Isn't that the logical thing to do? So I think it is the logical thing to do, because how are you going to? It's just like having customers come into your store. All of a sudden, there's a bunch of people coming in. You're like, what the fuck? Where do these people come from? And it's just pent up demand. So supply and demand, it does exist in forex. So I'm going to sell up here because I know this is a supply zone. And those tickets right now only last for 3 hours, so I'm counting on a rate of change, and trend lines work. And I was just so sorry for this no-nonsense guy. He doesn't get how to draw trend lines. I'll go over this again with him. I know he watches my videos religiously. So 5-minute trend line. You see this mountain peak on the line chart? You connect this, you connect it to here, and you take every cell that comes to this line, okay? Is that really hard to get? Is that hard? That is a 5-minute chart. How hard is that? And all you got to do is sell near that line. So that's a hard line. It's not a moving average. Moving averages just suck all day long. The trend line is a hard line in the sand. Now, if you want to go one step further, you got to add the equidistant here. I'm going to build what people call pitchfork out of two equal distant channels. So that is not the default. Neither is a rectangle. A lot of the stuff, but I can't do the fib thing because it's not what the market's really at. It's not the real prices. So we know this window here, there's going to be sellers, right? Isn't that how this rolls? So I'm going to sell there. Here, British pound. Do trend lines work? This is VP here. We're trading trend lines. I'll show you that it don't work. So and then why does he do the video? His last video. Why did he do it 2 days ago? You know the reason why? To prove a point. So he could be right. He's still stuck in this childish, I need to be right. It needs to make sense what's going on. See Commitment to Traders report. Hey, did you see the commercials? Dude, I used to look at that shit. That's not how market works. I mean, that's not how making money works. You got to have a trade plan like, okay, it's 6 in the morning. If we're at this price, I'm going to pull the trigger. If we're down, and so there's only 6 bars a day, 6 4-hour bars. You can't pay attention to 6 fucking bars a day. We're on a daily chart. Okay, it's daily chart then. Right? You're going to buy low. How to trade the unknown nonsense way. You see this low here? I call this the lonely wick theory, invented by me. It's in my book on page 500. This is lonely basements. Put a buy limit. You bought here, you bought here, you bought here. You got a buy limit sitting here. No fill. How's that trade working out on the dailies for you? What's the algo? What do you have your settings at? There's no settings. The market set it. It's set it and forget it. The market set it. I'm buying every 10 pips. I'm buying low. Am I buying low? Or am I buying low? Every 10 pips. Where's my high probability cash out? Where's my scalps here? Let the rest ride, maybe? Like, where's the work? Lonely wick. Buy limit. Buy limit. Buy limit. And I hear people say, yeah, but dude, I know it's a daily chart. Come on. You're going to buy every 10 pips and scale in on the way down. Right? That's how it's got to be. Is there any other choice on that trade? From this style of trading, you're looking for these voids. So somebody's talking about the vacuums and stuff like this top here. You gotta have a sell limit there, and one here. No fill there. So what's the cure for that? Sell limits all the way up. Right, so sell limits all the way up. That's how it's gonna work. Every day is unique. There is no algorithm. Right? You can have a robot, a slot bot that's gonna make some money. I gotcha. But why bother? Every day is unique. There's so much money to be made every day, every week, without regard to a moving average. Better ratios. Why not take that trade? Isn't that the better trade? Isn't that the more money making trade? I don't know. This is so weird. No nonsense, guys. It's so weird. Look at this move. Are you serious? The daily British pound. And he would say, well, here's the thing. Yes, indeed. If you are going to tell me, and of course he's painting the picture as if every time he talks about a losing trade, that's a retail guy's trade. Like banks don't lose money. Are you really going to tell me the big banks trading against each other aren't crushing each other? What, they're all winning? You think they're fighting amongst they look at your little retail account, they can see your stop? What this guy's saying is preposterous. We really can't believe that Citibank knows I'm trading. Like they wake up in the morning going, did you see what he did with that demo account? We're in trouble. We're in a heap of trouble, boys. I got a posse coming out for you. I knows it. Take cover, Luke. Yeah, no kidding. Man, he's right. This could be dangerous. This trading's really risky because the big banks would be out there coming after you. I know. I knows it. This guy, he's too much. Yeah, so I want to see his demo account. I just want to see some guy demo ball an account like that. And I can just barely trade it. It's just getting heavy as hell here on the swings. Cycle reversal trades there. So let me see if I outdid the Ryan bot here. So my biggest profit was the deposit at $5,000. And I took a big hit there at the beginning. Ryan, so I beat Ryan at 19K. Trading 19K, I made more than his bot. Okay? There. So put that in your crack pipe and smoke it. But that's my biggest win. Unfortunately. But these are not bad either. So that's how I did it. All those, about $130 per ticket. Get out. $88 on the, just boom, boom. I just hitting that thing like crazy. Now this one is a Ryan bot trade. So Ryan's bot cleaned up on some scattered big tickets here, but then it took a major hit. When you get to the worst trades on here are going to be the Ryan bot. See, I got out. Like, so the Ryan bot, since it kind of hedged itself, took some big hits there. So that was my big drawdown compared to my like I could never make as much money as that thing lost. But it started to literally in a grid form, martingale in like 21K, 22K, just kept adding one at a time. And I had several of these robots running, so I don't even know which one did it. But that's how we took a hit in the beginning of the account. And, oh, well, the deposit says 7 grand. That's weird. Can't add money to a demo. That must be because I cashed out, went flat. I'm not sure why it says 7 grand deposit, how that works, but I guess you can make fake accounts and stuff, but no, this is a real demo account. It's just really, trading is not that hard. It's just you got to wake up, you got to get scramble. London opens. You see there in your buy zone, if you didn't put a limit in there, and you don't mind pulling the trigger while the market's smashing around, sometimes it's like a hot dog. You just want to eat it. You don't want to see how it's being made. So maybe it's better for you if you're going to not want to babysit it. You set it and forget the trade. Now, it is granted, you can come home and be like, wow, I just lost $50 or lost $500. But you could also be, or you can watch it from your phone. If you think you're in too big, peel off a couple tickets, because the only thing that's going to hurt you is size. The only thing that's going to make it so if you step into the market in graduations, in increments, this way, you come in like you're coming into a party or something. You just don't, even if you're the most amazing guitarist in the world, you don't show up with a Marshall stack and just start ripping licks off in front of people. So people would have to even give a fuck that they wanted to hear you play. I'm assuming. I'm like, yeah, you play guitar, right? Or, whatever people's opinion is of your trading or whatever you're doing. I can't even imagine going to a prop house, and maybe I should do it for fun. Maybe I should do that just for the fun of it. The experience, show up, yeah. Show up like one eccentric trader, super eccentric trader. Yeah, like, hey man, like, I just sit there looking at my phone, just making a bunch. I don't talk to nobody. I got 10 masks on. Wear 10 masks to work. I'm like, I got fucking like scuba gear. Yeah, hey, I'll be with you in a minute. Yeah, he's our top scalper. He's got something in that tank. What's he got in that tank, brother? Oh, black tanks matter. Using a black tank today. Fucking name, man. Get a grip on yourself, these people. Everybody wants to be famous. So the big wicks. Man, that's my favorite trade, is buying that wick. When I see that thing pounding down, they're going to take it all the way to the edge of that price. I can't believe they're going to go all the way to support, which would be a lower price than we're at now. It's kind of crazy. It's unbelievable. How do they do that? Well, they're big banks. Shut the fuck up. They're big banks. Don't you understand what's going on here? Do I have to explain everything? Well, let me cheat you. Let me give you an simulation here. Listen here now. No nonsense. Big banks.
Really all like this. But in this video, before we do anything, I know a lot of you guys are new. You're wondering, what is this guy talking about? Should I invest any of my time hearing anything else this guy is going to bring to the table? I think the answer is a solid and definitive yes. And
a solid and definitive yes. Now, what is it that triggers me about the way this guy talks? I just find it to just be like, I think I'm more annoying, but I don't know, honestly. What the hell is this guy thinking? Coming up to my cell window. Okay.
People who have gone through the material on this channel are going to tell you the same thing. This channel has done some really extraordinary things since I first shot that video. If there's any question whether you should be here or not, I'm going to do my best to answer that. Also, I want to break this theory down a little bit further. I feel like I covered it pretty well, but there were still some questions and I kept getting over and over. So now would probably be the best time to address them, as opposed to me going in and trying to individually.
But let me address the questions that I've been having. People ask me about the price vacuums and stuff. I think it's obvious. When you haven't seen the price be somewhere for a long time, it's a big deal. Look at this current market situation. Look at this thing come flying back. So this is the pound. I talked about this being the white wave 4. This is the daily pound. Now this was the 4-hour chart. We broke it down. We had the trend lines. Trend lines don't work. Well, they do on my chart. It's crazy. But you still need a trade plan for the trend line. Yeah, they work, but are you going to keep selling at this trend line? No, because I said when we get to this point of the trend line, forget about it. It's going to fail miserably. That is the smaller trend line in the fractal. Here we're coming up now. We just breached this trend line. Just trend lines work on closing prices. For me, they do. For me, they make sense. Come right off of here. You're breaking it, but I want to be in before the break. I'm selling into this thing. I'm selling into this because of this, not because of the trend line. So why are you doing the trade? Is the trend line what's making you do the trade? Is the supply and demand what's making you do the trade? Is the moving average trigger? Crossed over. Don't forget, moving average crossovers do work in the long run, just like cloud trading works. Okay, all this shit works, but you got to be able to endure 50, 100 pip swings without getting stopped out. This is why No Nonsense thinks that forex is different. Well, it's just so crazy up and down. Yeah, it's going up and down because it's open 24 hours. It's able to take advantage of all those prices. At 3 o'clock in the morning, they might be wicking into yesterday's high. Now that just fucked up your ATR. Well, ATR's on close, isn't it? No, it's actually true range. So ATR is average of true range. At least with ATR. Okay, that's the only thing. So the funny thing is about the people that follow No Nonsense are the only reason he's able to make money is he has an ATR as part of his scheme because yes, volatility matters. When the markets went berserk recently, from a built on current structures of what's really happening right now. Like you could go out right now and do a deal. If you have money, you could go do a deal right now you could never do ever again because of Corona and because of everything else. Like you could step into a place if you had money. So here's the funny thing. You don't see anybody with the balls though. Like if this guy's got money, this Starbucks guy and all these people, hey, step in and set up fucking you know, just come in and if you really believe, then you step in and you rebuild the burnt up place or whatever. It's usually not the case. It's a sit back and not until somebody steps up to the plate do other people get off the bench, and I suppose. But in these markets here, does technical analysis. This is what I call this because I understand the mentality of, well, this looks like this works perfectly. Why would you want to do anything else? Right? Why would you? But this is the 4-hour chart, so, but the trade frequency here is way higher. This is like, hey, you're in, you're out, you're 4 hours this way, 12 hours that way, and you're just dumped a trade, get out. You're never going to make money buy and hold because you've locked up margin and the market's just beating the shit out of you. Typically, I've never been in a trade where I don't go, wow, that is a market gushing into a zone and then gushing back out. And if I didn't get out, I'd just be like back to where I started. I'm not making any money. So if you can afford, yeah, sure. If you already got money that you don't, like you're not going to care about the chart, you're going to go to the weekly charts. Like so on the weekly chart would make this 4-hour chart look just completely ridiculous. Right? Let me go to a weekly chart. What the fuck? But you'd be buying at the end of the week, right? Would you not be buying here at the end of the week? Of course you would. You would. If you're a person that buys at the end of the week because it's heavily down, you would have bought. And you don't need an algorithm for this. This is clunky caveman trading. Why is all the sophistication with all this? It's like bragging about or it's like saying, Okay, so the guy starts off the video. These are his opinions and stuff, but then he goes on as if like it's really true. It's like fake news. It's like, well, what, they always do that disclaimer. Then they talk insane. Like, what if a black hole was in the sky? You think a plane black? You think the Bermuda Triangle ate that plane? I mean, if it's a joke, I get it, but wow. So of course, on the weekly chart here, you're waiting for fucking ever for these trades. If your criteria is it needs to be down, well, then you'd say, well, what about this? You bought this thing. Yeah, well, the rule is if you buy in a market where it's down how many pips in a week? Your stop's got to be here. They stop you out. Then you buy again. Okay, this is why it works. You buy here with a giant stop because it just moved giantly. You made it's a break-even trade. If you would have got stopped out, you're risking this much to make this much. That's a good trade. It's down a little bit. You can buy with a tighter stop. It's up kind of big. You got to sell with a wider stop. It's up a little bit. You sell with a tight stop. It's down really big. You buy with a wide stop. And this is the market whips up and down. You keep changing your trade plan. It's down here, you buy. It's up here, you sell. You buy, you sell. That's what you do. But where are you going to buy and sell that thing? Are you going to lay a grid out there of limits? So I think you should, because if you're not going to be here for the trade, yes, there are sellers here. There is supply all the way up. It exists. It really does. How is this any different than any other market? I guess this doesn't happen in stocks much. That's true. But stocks aren't up in 24 hours. This is compressing 24 bars into a day and then scrunching the whole thing down. And that's the weekly chart. So there probably are moves like that on the weekly stocks where you're just like, whoa, they got a bad report. And so what do you do about a move like that? Well, you could probably jump on the 4-hour train here, and I know you could have sold. I guarantee you, if you would have sold every rally in this 4-hour bar, you would have made so much money. You know you would. It's obvious. But are you going to see a move like that again? Is there ever going to be an opportunity to buy when the market's slammed down that hard? This is the crash of the stock market. This is a Corona crash represented in dollar terms. And then no nonsense says another excuse not to trade. It's like the list of why not to trade. Well, because the dollar, if the dollar's involved in the pair, don't even think about trading because that's where the big banks are, see? Or the big banks don't even, that's, huh? What? The spread is what it is on your broker. Unless you're going to buy a bank, unless you're going to be a bank, right? Literally, So, the big banks are coming after you, man. They can see your tickets, son. But these are like once in. I mean, that's done. We're not going to see a move like this again for quite some time. So you may have, I suspect that people got destroyed in this because they didn't look. If you're on the weekly chart, by the way, at least give yourself find out why this market sold off, and no nonsense claiming he knows what. It's like most people don't even know what's driving. Do you even have to know what's driving it? I mean, you making your theory right, is that helping you trade? I guess it's giving you confidence. This was a support level, so was this, and this is a very deep, rich void. All the way to here, and here's where it really got super deep, and then here beyond here, mind-blowing. But I guarantee you, this is the weekly chart. When this thing came smashing down, had you bought into that, there's scalps along the way, plus you have to know there's a possibility, it's a high probability, always, that we're going to take this out. So if you were to buy every 100 pips, since it's a British pound, you bought a 1K, 2K, 3K. You could do the math. When you got to here, you're in like a 13K. Market comes all the way back to here, and then the Ryan bot would cash out about midway. It would average out these things, and by then the indicators would turn up and whatever. You know. And when the indicators roll over, I wait for them to catch up, and all that nonsense. But like I said, in the end, so what are you going to do? With all the money you make trading, and it's not like it's not work. And look at all these zigzags. It's funny because you can see that beautiful 8-period moving average has just been a perfect entry here. But then, of course, the trend line blows it away. Because I can draw a trend line here, my first trend line draw, and I can just sell to the retest here. I can draw my first trend line here and buy at the... So you're only waiting for 2 valleys, and you can draw your trend line buy here. Right. 2 valleys, draw a trend line buy here. Never really get a fill here, though. See? You're waiting for that other touch. Here's where the argument is trend lines don't work. Oh, look, it blew through there. All right, but what if you place sell limits in this pocket for this scalp, and then you put sell limits here, and morest up here? What if you did that? Would that work? You're not going to see that trade if you're really a cloud trading. But the funny thing is, cloud traders do that with their clouds. They take that zone and they say, well, see that? See that pocket up there in the cloud? Look at this tippy top. Top tick Tommy. Full tilt auction up there. Wow. Well, that's the banks are doing that. See, they tricked everybody. What they do is they run it up. Let me explain this to you, son. The banks, they run it up, and they get you all excited in your indicators, and the algos start kicking in, and you buy. And then they just blow your brains out. And they mistreat you. I know how they do that. Just like here. They get you all trend happy, and you get a flag, and you add your position, and then you're like, wow, this is great. We are making so much money. And here you bet the ranch, and you sell even more. And then they turn around, and they rip it back up. And just when your moving averages start to look good, and your oscillators start to turn up, you start to get your signaling confirmation. All green lights. It's all green lights. I got a C1, I got a C2, I got a C3. Let's go. And then all of a sudden, it just turns ugly. Now this is the weekly chart. So imagine the guy that says that about this entry. Now that's aside from, this is a completely different trade then. And this may be, this is fueled by a bunch of people. What I see here is, every time we come up into this thing, people are cashing out, people are selling, then they sell everything they own right here. Just when the trend traders are getting all giddy about, this is going to be a great thing situation here. This is going to be amazing. You're just going to love this trade I'm in. Then it gets ugly. And just, it's so not facing reality in the time frame that you're looking at. Sure, if I was a so-called big bank, for my bank, or how about my bank account, or my trading account, I'll buy that pullback. I put buy limits in here. I'd say, you know what? This looks like ripe for the pickings. We got some lonely wicks out here in the weekly. Let's buy this. Yeah. And as it engulfs and trips up here, we put sell limits and go the other way. Total reversal trading on the weeklies. No algorithm needed. Just price. Why all the sophistication? Well, I got this thing. It reads the headlines and it takes Trump's tweets and it figures out what the market's going to do. Are you nuts? You really think the market's moving because of Corona reports and they're locking down this city and it turns out there's not as many dead people. Oh, it made the market go up when they said there wasn't as many dead people. Come on, really, people? That's not how it works. So that is true. That's my version of no nonsense argument that, well, it's just people behaving. It's just organic phenomena, really. The market's just a natural phenomena of crowd behavior. Otherwise, the banks would be sitting back going, we're just going to give away money to everybody. We made so much money on that trade. They should have made money on the trade. And then he points out this corruption where these guys were caught doing overnight rates. Who cares what they're fucking doing? They're not in a market it's an unregulated market, you dumb shit. This no nonsense guy. I just want to kill him. Dude, it's over the counter trading. Well, the bank's being fined. Yeah, by government regulators. What the fuck? Is this guy a deep swamp? Dumb shit? No, no, he's part of the swamp, this guy. God, what a goof. Oh, yeah, can't you see what's going on here? Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, I'm going to put sell limits in here. Just in front of the market. At the very top. Selling in the climax of the euro dollar. It's trying to engulf yesterday's price. So here's a classic auction. You take out the low of Asia, or take out the low of the day, and then just took out the high of the day. Okay. Can't believe this broker won't take a trade from on the euro. Okay. Just putting really dense tickets. Last all day up here. Break evens, trying to make 10 pips. So I'm going to put them in all the way at the top. That's just the worst. Hugo's no fill. Hugo way, no fillo. Alright, so we're scalping. We sold the very top of this. This is our sell point. This is the Lonely Wick entry. So it's stocks have been open for half an hour, and it's 10 o'clock. 10:03. So that's the place to sell. About to cash out into this top. Scalpers get out here. I mean, that might be it. I might have to engulf deeper. If that's the case, we'll make money on that. Okay, now the scalpers have got out. Right at the bottom of that box, they're cashing out. Now here's more buyers coming back in. We're going to sell into that window. All on limits here. I'm up 10 bucks. So I'm going to take that 10 bucks off the table on something. I'm up 10 bucks. Okay, that's the euro versus the pound here. So my biggest winning trade is buying the euro versus the pound. Okay, so let's see where I got filled on that. On this plunge. Kind of underwater on this trade. Put some buy limits down here in this hole. So we're coming up to the exit floor. I would get ready to get out of this. We're about to get to where we should get out. So the nice thing about the limit placed ahead of time is we don't have to worry about being there for the trade. We can still cash out. So I have a scalp built into it right here. So my finger's on the cash out trigger. Right there. I'm sit there with my finger on that. And that's going to be like selling at the market up into the floor of that support we took out. A nice clean 4 hour. Look at this turn on the dime on the 4 hour chart. Just turns on a dime. As the bankers sit in front of their terminals with their finger on a trigger, and just rip that thing the other way like that. See what's happening there. See. Oh, look, this is about to cash out. So I'm going to let it cash out itself. I still will at 10:30 get out of this trade, though. I should be out by then, I hope. Actually, get engulf, let it go. Now that's the other thing. Let it go. If you are already out of half of the position, let the rest float. And just be like, now it's an investment. It's not a trade so much. You're like, yeah, it's probably going to go that way, you know. Or you say, yeah, it's running out of gas. I'm up just how I want to be here. Let's see. Okay, I'm up 20 bucks. If I'm up 30, would I get out? Probably. I don't think I have any big positions. These are all... I do have some pendings I got to delete at the end of the day. Big giant pendings I put in with no stops, so that's going to be dangerous. So taking profits here at probably 30 bucks maybe. Let's see. Let's see if we get the 30 bucks. Okay, the 15-minute chart's about to update. I'm about to cash out of this thing. I got picked up on my sells on the euro. So I took out the high of the day. I sold into that, so I'm going to cash out of this in a second. Let's wait 15 more seconds. Might get some follow through here on the 15-minute chart. Well, waiting game. So I'll just wait for that. 5 minutes after. So 20 after is a big deal because it's 5 minutes after the 15-minute update. So we get one more smash up here possibly. Take us up to almost this floor we took out. Okay, so I'm cashing out of this thing. 15 minutes, I'm not waiting for 5 after. Let's take that whole trade off. I'm still underwater on some of that. So I could go flat on what's left there. Or I wait for it to pop up and just 5 minutes I'd wait now. And then I would just sell. I would just cash out of those. So hitting that right at 15 minutes is kind of the thing to do there, because look at this 15-minute, right? It's right at the top of this trap. And maybe we drift up for the rest of that. So scale in, scale out. Okay, so still at the same equity, but we're in another trade that we're winning on the short euro right now. So we're kind of hedging against this. We went short into this. Underwater on the ones that are here. We could definitely keep going up though, so I don't think I'm in enough to hurt the account. Probably about 25k filled on this. Just pending 1Ks I put up there all day long. But if we come back here, I will cash out because this is going to be the obvious exit, even though the targets aren't set like that right now. We could overshoot that and come engulfing back in the other way a little bit, but I'm going to get out there on that scalp and then probably buy below here. Here's the 15-minute chart view. So we're just keep, so kind of trapped up there, right? That very tippy top. This is the high of yesterday. So just nicked. Let me fix the scale here. Okay, so just very top of that thing. So here's where you take out the high from the previous day by so it's trading reversal on the wick there. So just took out the high of yesterday. Let me scalp it. Back like 10 pips off of that. So here's yesterday's high. And the first exit on this chart would be here, which is just your 10 pips. broke out there. Plus the scalpers already got out. So the people that trade really heavy at the very top there, I'm sure they took the money and ran. Well, it's big banks. They run that up there just to trick you. See how that works? Let's go back to no nonsense. This guy just kills me. You're in the right place, breaking down the theory further. Like, dude, we don't care about the big banks. We care about our bank account, how we're going to make money. How can I set up my trades and just go back to sleep? I know when London opens, it's going to go crazy. It's going to go here. It's going to go there. It's going to be boom, bam. Why am I going to look at the latest indicator and build an algorithm? This is preposterous, man. Anyways, the world according to no nonsense.
Visually answer all these questions in the YouTube comment section. That's a really bad waste of time. We're just do it here. Also, one of the key takeaways of that video, one of the things that got a lot of people really excited was when they saw those sentiment indicators I showed you for the first time. Now, getting access to these indicators has changed a little bit, and I want to clarify the way we read these indicators, explain what we use them for.
So you got to know how to read your indicators, explain what we use them for. Can I just trade? Can I just trade? Like, nothing's going to get over the fact that I could lose, I could win, I could lose. So, wow, you know, let's just get the party started. Let's just start trading. Let's look at the chart. Let's make a trade plan. Okay, let's sell up there. Am I going to scalp it? Am I going to hold it? That's the only other question. How long do you want to be in the trade, and how big do you want to be in the trade, and how many trades do you want to do per day, per week, per month? What is the reason for the trade? Are you going to get into the market? Are you going to wait for the closing of the 4-hour chart and you're going to get in because you're a contrarian? So he claims he's a contrarian also, this guy. Well, he's really not. He's going with the... if he doesn't trade reversals, how can he be a contrarian? So that's bizarre. It's weird. The guy just is perplexing.
And what we do not use them for, because I think there's some confusion there as well. Also, towards the end, especially if you are new, I want to take this time to explain to everybody the best course of action going forward if you want to learn the no-nonsense forex way of trading. I want this road to go a lot smoother for you and really for me too. So stay tuned for that towards the end. But that does beg the question, should you move forward with this? Is it in your best interest? Well, I would say it certainly is. This channel has had an incredible success rate. You have to understand, the success rate in forex is abysmally low, lower than probably any other trading market on earth. I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
So are people that try to be famous guitarists, and people that it doesn't mean they can't play guitar. I have no idea. I think it's tough. The market, I think a lot of people don't have the... humans aren't designed for random risk. You know, things that we don't know what's going to happen. If you're risk adverse, it's just naturally you're going to look for more and more confirmation, more and more reasons to say this trade, this is a safe way to trade it.
Reasons for that, and what we do here flies in the face of many of those reasons. And as a result, this channel has done something no other channel has ever done in a fairly short amount of time. As I record this video on a Sunday.
So this channel turns people pro. Whatever that means. When I was a kid, it meant pre-retarded oddball. I guess you can't say that no more.
In late June 2020, we have already turned 33 people, I think, give or take, one or two, taken them from break-even or losing traders to traders who now don't even have to risk their own money. They get to keep all that. They get hired on by firms, and those firms have given them their money to trade on their behalf. It's the best everything. It is a level of success so few.
Does anybody remember the movie The Firm and what happened there? What a disaster that was?
People ever thought they would ever get to see, and those dreams finally got to be realized. I will link this in the description. It'll be the testimony.
So this, I guess, is the appeal. Is that you're trading a $3 million account, or you're like a hedge fund manager, and then you wear a coat and tie, and maybe you trade from home. I don't know. Or you show up, and you're a very important person. So I think it is lifestyle. I'm when I first heard the term, I was like perplexed. Prop house trader, like you prop up houses and you sell them. But you show up with a couple 2x4s. Like, here's your house. Yeah, prop house trader. I trade prop houses. You want one? Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see if I can do this. I'm gonna try out for it. Show my demo account. He's gonna take a website. No
Who have turned
nonsense.
pro as a result of this channel posted their story and where they got hired and how it all happened. And I would even say that this 33 number is on the low side because I've seen people in the YouTube comment section thank me for turning them pro and then they don't fill out the form, which is fine. You're not required to, but just know when I say 33, it's probably even higher than that, which is just incredible. Congratulations to all of you out there who have either done it or are very, very close. You've come a long way. But we do take a contrarian approach.
No, you don't take a contrarian approach. I don't like this guy says that, but so it's so cute. Like, but we turn these people. We graduated. Now you go out there and you trade that giant account, and I don't. I guess you're making what? I don't know how much money. Now, supposedly these prop houses, you have to pay to play. Like you got to pay for the desk or something. I don't know. Like I said, it comes down to lifestyle. I guess this is the big appeal because it's a place you can show up. I don't know. I just don't think I get along with people very well, so I don't know if I could show up somewhere. It'd be not working out for me.
Sure, and you absolutely must. When the success rate is so low, and almost everybody who doesn't make it is doing the same things, the same incorrect things, the same boneheaded things, it is in your best interest to do the complete opposite, or at least take an approach to where you really want to stay as far away from these mistakes as possible. Now, it's not a dumb, blind, contrarian approach where we just automatically do the opposite of what they're doing. That's really hard to figure out. But you will see, and the Big Banks video sets you up for this very thing. Taking a contrarian approach to where you want to really, really make sure you're not on the radar of the big banks, because unbeknownst to almost every trader out there, they are heavily against what the majority of traders do. And if you just figure that part out,
The big banks are against you. They can see your tickets, and they're heavily against what you're trying to do. Gosh. Are you sure? That's scary.
the rest of the contrarian stuff's going to start to make a lot more sense. But if you don't like the idea of being contrarian, if that's just something you're against, then you're really not going to like this channel. You're better off served somewhere else. However, if you're all about it and you want to see what we do, you want to turn pro someday, there's a correct approach and a very incorrect approach. You have to use this channel like a grown-up. This is a college course. Gotta look at it that way. It's free for one, so it's not like a college course.
This is where I'm going to fail, I think. You need to use this channel like a grown up. Is this guy serious? He's kidding, right?
It's also effective, which is also unlike most college courses. But it's something you have to be very deliberate and take your time and go slow. Take notes. Don't look for quick little shortcuts. That's not the game. That's going to get you killed every single time. This is a grown-ups game. It is a $3 to $6 trillion market. There are no quick fixes.
It's a $3 to $6 trillion market. There's no quick fixes. What does that have to do with the price of tea in Baghdad? I don't get it. What, there's a bunch of money in there? So therefore, I can't make money because there's a bunch of money in there? And take notes.
You see a lot of people selling quick fixes, but they never ever work. At the end of
Mine do. Huh, that's crazy.
the day, the people who buckle down and do this right are in a much better place to succeed than literally everybody else. Now, the one thing I would ask as a courtesy to me is if you have any questions on anything I talk about, write it off to the side. I can not guarantee, but I can say with a lot of certainty that there's a really, really good chance your question is going to get answered, and answered in a really good way, not just a yes or no, answer with no nuance. That's not how this works. Your question is probably going to get answered in a future video. So I'm not sure if you knew this, but if you go to YouTube, you can click on literally anybody's YouTube channel, and you will see this little thing right here. This is a search box. So you might be wondering, Leafy sounds really intelligent.
I can't take it anymore. Anyways, that's my trade plan. So I'm getting filled here. I'm selling into the Euro rally. Just getting filled like a banshee here. 150K there. Down 53 bucks into the sell. Got more sell limits pending. It's 10:30. I think crude oil comes out or some report. So if you didn't scalp out of this, see how that turned against you? You had that 5-minute window to scalp out, and then they just keep coming up. You didn't even make it back to the breakout point on that. I just kept ripping, so. I'm down 52 bucks on this. Got in. I'm going to get in some more. So I'm going to sell into this thing all day long now. Every 10 pips. There we go. Get it filled finally. Okay. Oops. Yeah, wait for this broker to give me. So now I'm going to put the really greedy targets here of 36 pips. And I'll put these way up on the top all day long. Okay, 246. We're not really treading water. We're down 50 bucks though, I can tell you that. Okay. We're going to sell more up here. So we took out the high of yesterday. And now we're going after the high of 2 days ago. So let's just sell a ton up here with really wide stops. Wild Wednesday. You took out the low of the previous day. You took out the high of the previous day on a Wednesday auction. We're down 49 bucks. So you see how that worked? We took out the low of the previous day. You could have bought here. No algorithm needed. It's contrarian approach. Fills all the blanks there. I think I'm going to go work at a prop house. I mean, it'd be so much fun to just show up. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, put these orders in. Hey, how you like that trade? Oh, that's crazy. He doesn't even use a moving average. It's amazing. So we bought these wicks down here. And you would have cashed out here. Now, it doesn't happen like that every day, but it does happen like that most days. If you bought this here, you buy, you buy, you buy. Now, I don't know. And then, of course, you know you could have cashed out into this. You could have bought this thing and held it for 2 days. And people would be like, wow, that's a pretty good trade. How'd you do that? I didn't use commitment of traders, I can tell you that. Commitment of morons. All right. So where are we at, Jack? Selling into that rally. Take a look at the British pound. Well, I cashed out of something here. At 260. Okay, we're 37. Coming up off the floor here. Okay. So go to the 15-minute chart and man, look at this thing just rip. These are my sell tickets. The 1 hour is clean up, and the half hour just completed. So it's probably still going to go up a little bit more. So that's why I put more sell limits up there. And there's scalps in there and swing trades. Let me zoom out. Get a little bit better view of those. So here's the high of, I want to be able to see the high of yesterday. Take it out to, okay, so 30-minute chart. Okay, there's a sell window. and that is 3 days back. So yesterday, and then here is that deep discount. So is this support in a 20 pip window? It sure is. It's a great trade, right? So let's see here. Got my Falcon account. Okay, this is the same as Hugo, so I'll see that I'm up $40 now. Come back off the top. Look at that. Okay, so the scalpers are going to dump here. I could dump here. You got to get the navigator out and get the take profits ticket going there. Profit per symbol. Okay, so that's the sell window. Now we got to wait for a pullback to here. And then we'll go flat. Well, don't cash out. I go flat. There'll still be some underwater trades there. Okay, I'll just put a line on the chart here because this stuff is not stable. These are just my drawing over stuff. I put a nice hard price level. Okay, so this is where we really logically need to get out of that trade, make our 10, 15 pips. Oh, I remember what it's called, the top. So this is the top inside the top. All right, this is support, the last known support. Okay. If I take this forward, so there's the top inside the top. We could still take out the high of the day here. We could still keep going north, so we don't have to come. There's nothing that has to happen. Depends how much more fuel here is on the buy side. It's Wednesday, so we could get a complete engulf and just blow out this top here. So we gotta wait that out. Down $25. Down $25, I suppose. Let's see if anything's winning. I sold the pound, I'm up. So let me take a look at the pound here. Looks like that's a winning trade for the moment. Quite the rally on the pound. You're expecting that. Expecting a crazy situation there. This thing's just hell bent. So look at the dailies. You're selling that high. Another thing is that you want to get in before we start breaking these. So if you bought down there, you're scalping on the sell here on the 15. Okay. So depending on how you stay in this, here's the half hour. So we popped above here. We put a crop of cells up in this area. And we're up this much. We're up that wick amount. So here was the sell window. So if you go to the 5-minute chart, it's right there. Now buyers came in here on the 5-minute. They're buying that pullback, so the trend traders are getting on that. So I waited too late on that trend, 5 minutes. So, you know, on the way there, surely on the way there, this looks just like the other time frame. This looks like any time frame on the world, except for the spread being against you a little bit here on the 5-minute, but not too bad. So here's where you draw your trend line, but we never come back and retest that. But that's how that works. Failure for this to go down more. Are you really selling on that 5 minute trend line? It breaks out, comes back, finds support. Is that why it goes up? Is that what the $6 trillion bankers are taking that trade? I don't know. That's weird stuff to say. There's so many people coming in and out of the market for different reasons, and later on he talks about, well, people say it's a trade book and stuff. I couldn't watch the whole thing, I lose my mind. But people are saying that, well, yeah, people are saying all sorts of stuff. People are selling newspapers. Most clickbait. Almost everything's clickbait, or somebody has some type of. They get paid for views, or they get paid for likes. I don't know how it works for that, but that seems like work too. Even though you are making money from views and this and that, you still got to get out of bed and do all these things. The market's moving up and down, and yeah, when it goes really too high like this, it probably is going to reverse, especially up in that little cleft zone here. So here's the pullback. The bulls are going to buy every 5 minutes, pulls back. They're going to wait until 1 minute goes by, and it'll be a quarter to, and they will come in and they will buy, or the robots will buy. But they probably wouldn't be dumb enough to buy 500 standard lots at the top. Unless, wow, that's to them, that's a small size percentage-wise to their account. But yeah, trading the prop house, I guess I get it. Managing a big account, I'm a big shot. They're paying me X a month. It's steady income. I wait for some goober signals. I get in. I'm making 20%. Oh, that must be killing it there. Or do I go home and just say, you know what? I guess this is what the eventual prop trader would end up doing, is going, you know what? I'll just go trade my own account. I mean, some of these prop firms are like, well, you got to stay inside, show us your trade plan. You stay inside the boundaries. I don't know, they're going to give you some guidelines, and you got to wear a mask, and prop house mask. Anyways, going back to sleep. It's Wednesday. It's halfway through the week here.